Get on, people.
If you're a bad guy and you get booed, that's absolutely fine. As a matter of fact, that's what's supposed to happen. But what happens when there's legitimate hatred from the WWE Universe for the good guys? How do the WWE Superstars react then? I'm Dr. Chris, and here are 5 WWE Superstars who hated being booed. Number 5, Seth Rollins. In 2019, Seth Rollins defeated Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 35 to become WWE Universal Champion. He was the underdog babyface conquering the all-powerful Beast Incarnate, and fans were 100% behind him. However, by the end of the year, everything had gone wrong. He was being booed by fans who rejected his feuds with Baron Corbin and The Fiend. He made the situation worse by taking to social media to refute the criticism, positioning himself as a corporate poster boy and denying any faults in WWE's creative. It seemed the fans had gotten to him, and he lashed out in a number of interviews. While talking to Sporting News, he said, "You know what the fans want. You give them what they want and they reject it. Then you give them what they want again, and after 2 weeks, they want what they rejected." Seth Rollins also talked about this in the Out of Character podcast, where he highlighted how difficult it was for him to be the babyface as the WWE Universe seemed to dislike everything. Thankfully, WWE and Rollins utilized this heat to turn heel. Number 4, Batista. When Batista returned to WWE in 2014 and won the Royal Rumble match, fans were not at all happy. Batista, as beloved as he had been previously to the WWE Universe, was not Daniel Bryan. Bryan was the only person fans wanted to win the match, and Batista suffered by proxy. He was resoundingly booed out of every building and even mockingly dubbed Blue Tista when he had decided to wear blue trunks for a pay-per-view match. All in all, the run was a total disaster, and it hurt Batista a lot. In a 2019 interview with Lillian Garcia, he admitted it was horrible. "I tried not to take it personally, but I really did, and it hurt." Despite all of that, Batista did return to WWE in 2018 and would eventually have his retirement match against Triple H at WrestleMania 35. Number 3, Goldberg. Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 20 featured one of the most legendary hostile WWE crowds in history. Fans knew both guys were on their way out of the company, so they booed and jeered through the entire contest. It might have been several years since then, but such a negative response deeply affected the WWE Hall of Famer. In 2020, while talking about the reaction toward his initial match with Lesnar, Goldberg told Inside the Ropes, "It hurt my heart, you know." It wasn't the only time Goldberg has had to deal with boos in his career, though. He faced it pretty regularly in his more recent runs with WWE. While he claims it didn't upset him anymore, he's still definitely not fond of it. No offense, guys. There's a lot of beep hoes fans out there. There's a different generation of fans now, Goldberg told during an interview on the American Monster Promotions podcast. Number 2, Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey's relationship with the WWE has been strained for a long time. During her first run with the company, she was routinely booed by fans who simply didn't like her babyface character. It clearly affected her. For example, when Bray Wyatt was fired by WWE, she placed the blame squarely on crowds for treating him as if he was expendable, even calling them ungrateful idiots. Although she turned heel at the time to pave the way for Becky Lynch's meteoric rise, Ronda Rousey is once again a babyface upon her return. She is pulling in the numbers and audience, but to be honest, it seems only a matter of time when the fans turn against her. I mean, just recently fans were outpouring their support for Sasha Banks and hating on the current SmackDown Women's Champion when a report was leaked of the legit boss being furious over losing her WrestleMania spot to Ronda Rousey. Number 1, The Rock. The Rock is not a man accustomed to being booed. In fact, he's probably more familiar with fans cheering when they're supposed to boo, such as during his corporate champion heel run during the Attitude Era. As a result, when the Great One appeared at the 2015 Royal Rumble to help put his cousin Roman Reigns over with the WWE Universe, he was genuinely taken aback by the reaction. He totally underestimated the negative feeling that had been brewing toward Reigns. In his podcast, Dave Meltzer claimed that The Rock was upset following the event. He said it was that he got booed and that he didn't realize what he was getting into. Interestingly enough, the reactions didn't bother WWE much, as they went ahead with Roman Reigns as the new face of the company, which, in a way, actually worked out.